Welcome YouTube world. Welcome YouTube world to at Netta 27 Sports channel, where I talk boxing, NFL football, NBA basketball. And today is September 26th, 2023. And I'm going to talk some football today. I'm going to talk some football today. I think this is the first video I've done uh, all year on football, college or pro. And today my commentary is about the New York Jets. As y'all know, the New York Jets lost once again this past Sunday to the New England Patriots, 15-10. Um, and the topic of this video, or the title of this video, is should GM General Manager Joe Douglas be on the hot seat? Should Joe Douglas, the Jets GM, be on the hot seat? Obviously, Zach Wilson started the last couple of games because of Aaron Rodgers had a season-ending Achilles tendon injury the first game versus the Buffalo Bills. So it's been the Zach Wilson show since then. Even though they did pull out the Bills game with the walk-off punt return, they were fortunate to win that game. Now, within the last 2 weeks, they've lost to the Cowboys 30-10, and once again this past Sunday to the Patriots 15-10. So in 2 weeks, with Zach Wilson as the quarterback, the New York Jets have scored no more than 10 points. And that's not going to get it done in any league, college, pro, what have you. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. And I'm not saying Joe Douglas is the sole reason why Zach Wilson was drafted by the New York Jets, but he is part of the reason why Zach Wilson was drafted by the New York Jets. And since Zach Wilson has been with the team in the league, he's performed poorly, just as poorly as some say the biggest bust in the NFL draft as far as quarterbacks. He's even performed almost as poorly as Jamarcus Russell, um, who was the number one overall pick for the, I believe at the time, Oakland Raiders back in the day. So if y'all remember Jamarcus Russell, um, he wasn't much to remember. Wasn't much to remember about him. He wasn't in the league very long. But nonetheless, Zach Wilson, his passing numbers are just as bad as probably the worst quarterback bust in NFL history. He's barely completing, I believe, 55% of his passes. He really looks lost. And this is going back all the way to last season, which is one of the reasons why they went out and got Aaron Rodgers to be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets this season. But once again, Aaron Rodgers was hurt, so Zach Wilson is taking over. And thus far, we have seen no improvement from Zach Wilson at all. It's been pretty much a compilation of what he showed us last year when he was the starting quarterback for the New York Jets, which is very poor quarterback play. So, having said that, my question is why, after Aaron Rodgers was hurt, why is it that the GM didn't bring in another quarterback? You know, there are other quarterbacks out there that are available. Carson Wentz come to mind. Now, Carson Wentz has some experience in his league. He's had some success in this league. Unfortunately, it wasn't sustained success, but it was a lot better success than Zach Wilson. Much better success than Zach Wilson. Why haven't Joe Douglas brought in Carson Wentz? What's the problem? What is the holdup? Because I don't see no reason why Zach Wilson is still starting in the NFL, for let alone for the Jets or any other team. Why is he even still in the league? But nonetheless, Zach Wilson is still the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. It just amazes me that the GM has done nothing to help this team this season in the loss of Aaron Rodgers. You got to bring in another quarterback. What is the holdup? Now, the Jets' current backup quarterback is Tim Bowl, who came from Green Bay. at the behest of Aaron Rodgers. However, Tim Boyle is even worse than Zach Wilson as a quarterback because if he was better than Zach Wilson, or at least at least close to Zach Wilson, they would have put him in the game. The Dallas game, or even this game, they would have put him in and sat Zach Wilson's ass on the bench. But they didn't do that because they know what little Tim Boyle can do as a backup quarterback. So that gets me to my main point. Why haven't the GM, Joe Douglas, went out and brought in another quarterback? What is the holdup? What is the holdup? You know, once again, Carson Wentz is available. I believe Nick Foles, even though he's retired, he's available. And I'm kind of curious as how come I haven't heard Cam Newton's name mentioned as far as bringing in a quarterback. Cam Newton's not playing nowhere. Why not bring in Cam Newton? You know, just at least bring him in, let him kind of learn the playbook. You got a bye coming up, I believe, week 7, and then after that, you know, roll with it and see if you can make the playoffs. You know, and I think by then Cam Newton would be up to speed full 100% on the playbook. So bring him in now. Bring him in now, or any other quarterback. Bring them in right now so that they can start getting the grasp of the playbook, and then you can start putting them in games within another week or two. They need to do something because at this rate, the Jets will not score no more than 10 to 12 points a game. They might not win another game the rest of the year. And, you know, unfortunately, that's not a good look. That is not a good look when you went through what you went through last year with Zach Wilson and you didn't learn your lesson. You didn't bring in an established backup. Tim Boyle is not an established backup. He's not. He's really a third-string practice squad quarterback. You need a legitimate backup. And the backup that you had last year, Mike White, you didn't re-sign him, and you let him go to the fucking Dolphins. Unbelievable. The backup for last year's New York Jets, who actually came in and won a couple of games for the New York Jets, Mike White, is the backup for the Dolphins because the GM didn't re-sign Mike White from last year. The backup for the New York Jets last year. They let him go to Miami, where he's the backup to Tua Tagovailoa. It's hard for me to say that dude's name. So Mike White is in Miami. And you have no other viable backup. You let him go to Miami because you didn't want to pay him. So, having said that, that's on GM Joe Douglas. 100%. So now as it stands, week 4 coming up, you have no viable backup options. None. Zero. And instead, you got to put Zach Wilson in the game. And Zach Wilson has showed that he just can't play. He has ability to play quarterback, but from the mental standpoint, he can't process information quick enough to get the ball out of his hand where it needs to go. We've seen this from last year to this year. Nothing has changed. This is partly on Joe Douglas, the GM for the New York Jets, because he the one who helped draft Zach Wilson, and he has no viable backup plan. I know nobody expected Aaron Rodgers to get hurt 4 plays in the first game. Nobody expected that. But you got to be prepared in this league, and you got to have a viable backup just in case something happens. And NFL players do get hurt, and you got to have a plan B. And right now, the Jets don't have a plan B because their GM has not pulled the trigger on bringing in another veteran quarterback who can play. I'm just going to name a couple more quarterbacks. Or one more quarterback that they should have called. How about calling Colt McCoy, who's an 11, 12-year veteran in the NFL? Colt McCoy, who I believe was with the Arizona Cardinals last year. Why not give him a call? So you got Carson Wentz. You got Nick Foles, who's out there. You got Colt McCoy, who's out there. And you got Cam Newton, who's out there. You got 4 quarterbacks right there to pick from. 4, and we have we haven't heard nothing from the GM Joe Douglas as far as bringing in another veteran quarterback. And you have 4 established veteran quarterbacks out there, and he hasn't brought none of them in. And he let the backup, who played well in spots last year, Mike White, he let him go to the fucking Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins. So now they have no backup plan whatsoever. If they don't do something, it's really going to get ugly. The fans are going to riot. Joe Douglas may need police protection and a bulletproof vest, because the Jets might not win another game for the rest of the year in this 2023 season. So that's all I got. Thank you for coming to this channel at Netta27, where I talk mainly boxing, but I do talk professional football. I am a football fan. I am a Jets fan. I'm from the New York, New Jersey area. So I just had to come out and make this video because I certain names I'm not hearing. Quarterbacks that are out there. Haven't heard of Cam Newton. Haven't heard Colt McCoy. Heard Carson Wentz. Haven't heard Nick Foles. But those are 4 quarterbacks out. 4 quarterbacks you can call. The GM should be calling ASAP and get them in here for a physical and all that, the whole 9, for just one season till Aaron Rodgers come back. But he hasn't done nothing and said nothing. So, but this is what I got to say in regard to the situations with the New York Jets quarterback. And it's going to be a long season. If GM Joe Douglas doesn't do anything, it just may not win another game this season. Period. At all. And I don't think that's going to sit very well with New York Jets fans. But that's all I got. Once again, thank you for coming to this channel. Hit the like button at Netta27. Feel free to subscribe. Peace. My name is Amin. At Netta27. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll be back. That's all I got.